friends, it's Mrs. Trundle, and I want to read you a story today, and it's a story about our favorite cat, Pete the cat. Pete the cat. And his 4 groovy buttons. There's a button right there. Looks like it popped right off his shirt. It is written by Eric Litwin, and the art is by James Dean. He drew all the pictures of Pete the cat. So let's open it up, and we'll see what happens with his groovy buttons. It's a picture of all of his buttons. Pete the cat put on his favorite shirt with 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. He loved his buttons so much, he sang this song. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. Now my friends at home, you have this, and it's a picture of Pete. And we can tell the story with our own pictures and words. So I'm going to put this here, and it says Pete. And here is our picture and our word, has. Pete has. Remember, he started with 4 buttons. I'm going to put the number 4. And here's our word in our picture, buttons. Pete has 4 buttons. Let's see what happens when I turn the page. Pop! Oh no! One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Let's see. I think we can count them. 1, 2, 3. Let's turn the page and see if we are right. Yes, 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. He had 4 buttons. Now he has 1, 2, 3. So we need to change our picture here. Pete has not 4. We're going to find our number 3. Pete has 3 buttons now. Pete has 3 buttons. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. And he kept on singing his song. My 3 groovy buttons. My 3 groovy buttons. Here he is with his 3 buttons. I'm going to turn the page. We'll see what happens. Pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Well, let's see. We can look at his shirt and we can count. 1, 2. He had 3. 1 popped off and rolled away. Now he has 2. Let's check. Yes. 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we need to change our picture. We're going to take off our 3. And we're going to put a number 2. Pete has 2 buttons. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come, buttons go. And he kept on singing his song. My 2 groovy buttons. My 2 groovy buttons. Let's turn and see what happens to his 2 buttons. Well, let's look at the picture. First of all, Pete's having some ice cream. Got it from the ice cream truck there. But pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Let's look and see. There's one button. One button. Let's turn the page and see if we're right. One button. 2 minus 1 equals 1. So let's change our picture. And we're going to have to change 2 pictures this time. We're going to take this off and put our 1. But we wouldn't say Pete has 1 buttons. We would say Pete has 1 button. Pete has 1 button. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My button, my one groovy button. My button, my one groovy button. There's 1 button left. Pop. Oh no. The last button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Let's look at his shirt. I don't see any buttons at all. It would be 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have to take our 1 off because Pete doesn't have any buttons at all. But did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt. What do you think he saw? I want to know what Pete saw. Let's turn the page. Pete saw his belly button. He has a little belly button. So we're going to change our picture. And we're going to put a picture of a belly. Pete has a belly button. His belly button. And he just kept on singing his song. My button, still have my belly button. My button, still have my belly button. And he says it's all good. And if you look at the picture, it looks like Pete's surfing. He's in the water, he's on a surfboard. So he probably doesn't need a shirt with his buttons. And let's see what's on our last page. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry? Goodness, no. We just keep on singing. And that's the end of our story. Let's say goodbye to Pete the cat. Thank you, Pete. And he ended up with his belly button. I hope you liked the story of Pete the cat and his 4 groovy buttons. Goodbye for now, friends. See you next time.